Good morning. Welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. I'm Deanna. I was just shoveling salad in my mouth and losing track of the time. Good to see you, and I'm so glad you're there. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday. We are still coasting on this holiday weekend here in the U.S. The kids are off school. Monday, Tuesday. Oh, you know what? Today is Yom Kippur, isn't it? Isn't today Yom Kippur? Well, that would explain it, wouldn't it? Isn't that it? Maybe I'm losing my mind. Well, too late, right? I definitely am. Catherine, good morning. Good to see you in Idaho. Glad you're there. Robin, sunny Wisconsin. I'm so glad. Good to see you. Carol, also Wisconsin. Hopefully also sun. Such a big, tight set of buddies in Wisconsin and in Kaz. I need to write you back. Because, yeah, I am seriously thinking about going out there because I feel like there's a big group out there, and I love everybody who's there. And I've never been, so that's always been on my list. Laverne and Shirley aside, it's always been on my list. Karen, good to see you in Connecticut. Good to see you. What a beautiful day we're having here. I have the window open, so I fully expect to hear the rooster next door doing his... I mean, he does it all morning, and it makes me laugh every time because he does it. He's like in such earnest, you know. He just blasts like a foghorn all day long. I don't know how these little animals do it with their little voice boxes and stuff, but he just blasts his song all day long. So you'll probably hear that. Crystal, good morning. Good to see you. First day back to school. Little Vera's headed back, huh? Back to working on new projects. Oh, I'm so glad. Your projects have been so beautiful. Crystal's style is so, what do I want to say? It has such a shape. You know, it's like, you know, any kind of an artist, right? Frank Sinatra, everybody says, what a stylist. He was a stylist. He had such a distinct style. In any kind of art that you do, it's like you either do it and it comes out good, or you're such a stylist, and you have so much style. They're all beautiful. You have such a distinct palette and such a distinct look. And that is such a good thing, because that's a hard thing to teach. That's something, I hate to say it, but that's one of those things that I feel like being born with it is very helpful. And you were definitely born with it. I can't wait to see what you come up with. I like your little dancing man. Sue's good to see you in Kansas. Tara, great to see you in Ontario. Malia, I sent your stuff out. Great to see you in North Carolina. Janice, good morning in Minnesota. Nice cool fall day. Ain't it the truth? It is, yeah. I keep squeezing a little more summer in, and a couple more ice creams, another trip to the beach, that kind of thing. I just hate to see the seasons go, even though summer is not one of my favorites. I just hate to see the seasons go. Everything is just going by so fast, isn't it? Even during these crazy times. Barbara, good to see you. First day of school there was on Thursday. You know, that's as it should be. The more I know about Canada, the more I feel like that's just as it should be. That's the Maine's slogan is that, isn't it? It's vacation land on the license plate, but I think their state slogan is like life as it should be, or as life should be, or something like that. I think Canada has it well in hand. I feel like the whole schedule of days and school and taking days off is a bit, obviously more European, but a bit more civilized, a bit more of an emphasis on like the human quality of life, the quality of life, rather than, you know, the machine that just drags us all along by the fingernails. Joy, good to see you in Florida. Good morning. And Penny, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Cynthia, good morning. Happy Tuesday. And Cindy, good morning. Doreen, hello. And Beverly. Beverly, you have been so busy. You are so busy with your hooking and your dyeing. I can't believe how much you get done. I am so inspired. You do such a good job with everything, too. Dave in Toronto. Happy camper. You've got your oh, I wish I had my coffee. Dang, I should have grabbed some coffee. Sounds good, Dave. Good to see you. And Kirsten, good morning in Vermont. So did you all notice, if you were in the Facebook group, I put up a while ago the link on the Ribbon Candy Hooking site to Kirsten's page. And I put up, what's the rooster's name, Kirsten? I want to say Vera, but I think it was because I was just talking to Crystal. The rooster. Oh, no, I almost had it. What is it? Not Matilda. Super. I put up some of Kirsten's designs. Rooster, the rooster who I love, a lot of cats, and then she's got some great geometrics. So you should definitely check that out. Jill, good to see you. Definitely check out her designs. She does such a nice job. It's amazing. You will be astounded I think I wrote on the page, being stupid as always, something like, prepare to be amazed and meowed, because there's so many cats and they are all gorgeous. Like I mean, it's going to be impossible to choose for people like Penny who are cat people all the way. So that is there. I almost don't want to say it out loud. I am putting up Frida today. I swear I am. I was just getting a couple kits done out the door, so they're off my shoulders. And then the next thing is Frida. She is on my desk. I'll announce the class date. I'm going to do the Brady Bunch dyeing tonight, so you can see what the final effects would be. But that tie-dye, all tie-dye class, 4 different tie-dye techniques for 4 different seasons, and you end up with a full door yard, 4 long quarters of great background border material. Or fill. If you do a lot of graphic stuff and you need a lot of fill that looks, patterned, it's going to be perfect for that. It's a very inexpensive class, and you're learning basic dye techniques and getting 12 colors with squirt bottles that you can reuse. They are great, aren't they? All the comments. Wilma, that's it, Kirsten. I love that name. And it's funny that I shouldn't remember that because I had both of my kids in the Netherlands. I lived in the Netherlands for a long time, and they have a very different system there. I'm not going to even start, but they have a system there where you have a C-section. You basically leave the next day. They push you out the door, and if you're crawling, they kick you out the door, and they send you home and they set you up with a midwife, which we see more and more of that here, but the midwives are tough. And I had 3 midwives, and they were all named Wilma. And there was no getting rid of them. I mean, they were like in the apartment, a very small Amsterdam apartment, was not up for it, was not feeling it, was not feeling having a stranger around, was doing great the way I was. And there's Wilma, 1, 2, and 3, cleaning the litter box, heating up cans of soup. And it sounds like it would be super helpful. But for example, on Christmas Day, it's like, Wilma, hit the road. So yeah, I have this thing about Wilma in my head because I had 3 really bad Wilmas. Sounds like a metaphor, but okay. So I'm going to put up designing like Frida Kahlo as soon as I'm done with this. I swear, I just finished kitting 2 things that were important to get out the door. Another thing I wanted to tell you, I'll tell you. Actually, I'm going to save it to the end of the episode. Before I forget, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend, just to remind you, I have one of the classes at Madison. If you are anywhere near me, Madison, Connecticut, Madison Wool. And that's the Hooking Like Van Gogh, the Hooking Your Starry Sky class. So we're hooking the starry night, right? And then underneath, my pattern has the New England Village under, but people will be allowed to put whatever they want under there. We can adapt the patterns, either hooking or punching, and then you get the tool that you choose, plus this huge kit with remember the Van Gogh kit that I have out that's got tons of colors, blues, yellows, and oranges, and then a huge bag of fibers that are the same kind of color family. That's what the people are getting in this class. So if you're around on Saturday and you're near me, not this coming one, the following, I'll be at Mad Wool, but then the following day on Sunday, also Connecticut, Litchfield, Connecticut, I'm at that Litchfield Harvest Festival. So I'll be there for the first time. This is like the first time in 2 or 3 years I've done a fair. So I'll be there with tons of supplies, kits, beginner stuff, some antique patterns, lots of fun stuff. So if you're anywhere around, next weekend is going to be a big out there weekend for me. Now, she is a wonderful hen. Oh, you mean in real life, Wilma is a wonderful hen. I know they have such personalities, don't they? That's why I wish this guy would pipe up on cue. Wouldn't it be nice if he'd pipe up on cue? We had such a great day yesterday, I think. I hope you were able to log in. We were talking about Charlotte Bell's book, Rich Roots, and just getting so into it, so involved. This book is about, she has a place in Mexico, in San Miguel, Mexico, and there are a group of rug hookers there called Rancheritas, and this is what we were talking about yesterday during coffee time. And then for those of you who stayed on, Charlotte Bell actually came on with us during a Zoom call and answered some questions and talked a bit about her life there, and it really just was a beautiful morning. Really sort of the kind of event that really, for me, transported me. I felt like I was traveling, backpack on, as if I've ever worn a backpack, But, in theory, backpack on, just traveling through these unknown places, meeting all these people and talking about this completely different culture than the one we have, this outdoor culture where people are still, of the mind that it takes a village to raise a child, and pooling together all their resources, all of their energy, all of their affection for the people in their community. it was great to hear about it. It was great to look at it. But if you were, I know, right, Tara? If you were on that Coffee Time episode yesterday, Coffee Club, we're trying to say Rug Hooking and Punch Needle Coffee Club, to bring people to the Facebook page too. Please like, subscribe, and comment, all of the things I forget to say. If you were on that call yesterday, you might have noticed that it died partway through, 45 minutes in, so I was almost done. But yeah, Comcast was, I thought it was Teddy in the kitchen making a toast, but it wasn't. Comcast was doing work just up the road. We could see him. And they killed the power for a few minutes. Thank you. So I wish they would just let us know when they were doing that. I'm so sorry about that. But I thought, let's pick up today and just look at the very end of the book, because my mouth was running and I was right in the middle of some thoughts, and I thought it was interesting enough to continue. Good morning, M.E. Shelley. You enjoyed yesterday's Coffee Club so much. I'm so glad. I did too. I really did. And I was so excited to talk to Charlotte. It was, it's nice to have, oh my God, I forgot to tell you the most important thing. I knew, see, when I eat salad, it goes against everything that I stand for in terms of Doritos and hamburgers and all of those things. And I feel like it messes up my brain. Just kidding. Trying to be more healthy. But I completely forgot to tell you the main thing that I filed in the back of my brain regarding all of these great patterns that we're about to look at the La Rancheritas patterns. I spoke to Charlotte after the Zoom, and I said to her, trying to think of ways to sort of channel money to the girls and celebrate the patterns, but make them more available. Because I know not everybody is in the market for one of the finished rugs, and the finished rugs are always changing in terms of there are X amount available now, and someone will buy some tonight, and then there'll be different ones. Maybe you miss the one you like, maybe the new one's not so much. So not everybody is, I know, going to want to purchase a rug, but I think a lot of people admire the designs because they are original designs. They really reflect the culture there in Mexico, the faith, the animals, the life, the lifestyle. So I spoke to Charlotte after the show, and we made a deal. So I'm going to offer in the Ribbon Candy Hooking Store the La Rancherita patterns. So over, for example, the next week, I'm going to be going over with her all of the patterns that I see that I think, because a lot of them are very similar to the next. So, but I mean, there's hundreds. So I'm going to be going over all the patterns that I'm aware of and saying to her, is this one okay to do? Is this one? And I'm going to make all of those patterns available at the Ribbon Candy Hooking Store. And I can kit any of them, so kit will be available. But these are going to be fantastic patterns for beginners. For three different groups of people, I can see these being fantastic patterns for beginners, particularly as kits, because they're going to be on the smaller side, very manageable, simple motifs, very colorful, inspiring, happy, and not at all boring to do. So in that regard, they're going to be great. I might even offer them in multiple sizes, so you can do them larger if you aren't a beginner and you want to do them a bit bigger and dig in. They're also going to be great for people who are Spanish speakers, because there is quite a bit of text on many of the rugs, not all of them, but many of them. And I don't think we see enough with rug hooking being a North American craft. I don't think we see enough. We see a lot of text, but it's always in English. And I think it's a great thing to be able to bring in a whole catalog of rugs that have a lot of Spanish text. It's also going to be great for people who like to hook religious themes, because there are, it's a small group, but it's still there. Saints and saint days represented, sort of visitations like Mary type rug themes, really beautiful crosses, religious themes, and I only carry a couple rugs with religious sort of overtone. So if that is something that you enjoy having, hooking, hanging, then those three categories really are the sweet spot for this collection of rugs that will be coming out soon. So I was really happy to be able to do that, because I'm going to be giving a much larger percent than I would normally give, since I have to produce the patterns, draw the patterns, copy the patterns, and provide all the materials, do the sewing around the edges, mail, do all of it, right? But 30% of every sale will go directly to the girl whose pattern it is. So I'm going to be funneling 30% of everything to this collection of patterns, the La Rancheritas patterns, to Charlotte, and then she will figure out which girl designed it. Of the 18 girls who are designing rugs currently, and women, all the same, right? We're all girls, we're all, but it's going to go straight to those girls. 30% is going to be a considerable amount for them. And I hope that you enjoy looking at them. I hope to have them up within the month. So I think that's exciting. So I'm reading your comments. It is exciting because they are so different again. And they are, I don't want to say ethnic because they're not. They represent like their immediate area. It's just different than ours, right? So the word ethnic almost seems patronizing. I don't want to keep using it, but you know what I mean. They have a different life. They have a different quality. They have a different energy than rugs that we typically see traditionally in rug hooking. And I think that energy is welcome and wonderful. And I hope you feel the same way. So I will get those out to you as soon as I can. So let's just conclude. Thanks, Linda. I wanted to keep going with Charlotte is doing so much for them in terms of transportation, financial. She's got, like she told us on the call yesterday, a couple of people in place who are constantly donating wool. These rugs are made of wool that they make, not T-shirts, like the group of Maya women in Guatemala, the multicolor. They're doing the T-shirt stuff with really true thrifting style. But the women in Mexico, La Rancheritas, are working with wool that's been donated. And Charlotte has been stellar at doing that part of it, the logistical part, helping financially, doing all that stuff. The part that I think she likes the least is doing computer stuff, technical stuff, getting the patterns listed, all that sort of stuff. And I'm not super strong on the computer, but because of Ribbon Candy Hooking, I have a big platform, and I have sort of mastered the part where you get the image onto the paper, and you get the paper up there for sale, and then it's a breeze from there. So I'm hoping that I can take the part away from her that's difficult and just create a sort of parallel, a different stream of money that continually will go to these girls and women, because as you can imagine, even a small amount of money, right? Even if one person gets $20, $30 a month because she sold 3 or 4 patterns, that would be a good amount in their sort of economic situation. That would be a goodly amount. So any little bit will help in that regard. It'd be good to know the name of the woman who's, okay, Design More Hooking. Barbara, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. I didn't even think of that, because at the end of this book, and I did order a bunch of rugs from them, I have to say, so when those arrive, I will show you. But at the end of the book, it does show you, I'm gonna skip back into the middle in a minute for this episode, but it does show you, I want to show you Bonnie first, because she is kind of like the pillar, right? And again, for those of you who weren't tuning in yesterday, hello, Donna. For those of you who weren't able to tune in yesterday, this is a La Rancheritas group, and they do not use frames. They use hooks. They have regular rug hooking hooks that they're getting from people who are sending them down there, right? It's all organized. But you can see she's hooking the same pattern multiple times on her lap. They are not using frames. And one of the points that I was making yesterday during Coffee Club and during the Zoom call, and I'm sorry to be redundant if you were on, but for those of you who weren't on, I was making the point that bears repeating, that we get a bit too caught up sometimes with all of our fancy gadgets, right? We get a bit too seduced by the whole sort of elite part of rug hooking, which is all of the expensive equipment, the expensive cutters, having a different hook for every cut that you hook with, fancy wool that only comes from a certain place. Now, of course, I sell that way too because I'm a store, but you don't have to buy that way, and you don't have to hook that way. You can do it the traditional way. You don't necessarily need a frame. You don't need all the bells and whistles. So this is a great example, looking at the way these women work. This is a great example of how you can have so much success making stunning rugs like these, with just very basic equipment, very basic. But my point is, at the end of the book, they go through each woman. I got at least one of Bonnie's. I think I've got 2 of her rugs. Charlotte has kind of a chart, and she'll say, for example, highest year of education. So for Bonnie, it was 4th grade, which is typical, right? Sometimes even less. And for her father, doesn't say, he was born in 1931, died in 1985. Her mother, and these are Otomi people. These are not Aztec. I said yesterday, I always thought that the people who lived in Mexico were of Aztec origin, and it's not true. There's also the Otomis there who have nothing to do with the Aztecs. So that was like a big wake up for me, a big dum-dum moment for me, but it's good to learn, right? And a list of all her brothers and sisters, like how far they went with education, One of her sisters died of cancer. Lives at home. One lives in the village. Tells a little bit about her life, and if there's a spouse, a little bit about the spouse's life, highest level of education. And the only reason I think she's putting these things in is to give you a sort of window into their world. It is not even apples and oranges. It is apples and artichokes, for the way we live, particularly in the U.S., right? Having so much all the time. And I'm super guilty of that too. I'm a huge pig of a consumer. But it does give you a window into other people's worlds. And Barbara, yeah, I think I will certainly find out from Barbara whose designs each one is. And I'll see if I can even include on the Ribbon Candy hooking page under their tab that I have yet to create. As soon as this evolves, I'll create it. Maybe I can also, from her, use her, because these are all Charlotte's photographs, use her photographs so you can see the person who did it in a little excerpt about that person's life. Because I think that is so meaningful, especially if you're sort of sitting on the fence and you like two designs equally. It might be that you just feel a stronger attachment to one person, and you just you feel like, yeah, that's the person I want to, I want to make sure that that person gets some kind of a kickback from me, and I want to celebrate that person by hooking their design. And this is going to be fun for them too, because I'm sure that Charlotte is going to find a way through her connection, who's the younger woman in the group, over the phone, to be able to see if you end up posting, which I hope you do, finished pieces of their rugs that you end up getting once they're listed again, not yet. I'm sure that they will be delighted to see the versions of their designs that people are doing in other places. That will be one, and what a feeling it is, I can tell you. You love my analogies. I don't even remember the one I made, but I hope it wasn't too naughty. I remember the first time that I sold a pattern and I saw somebody post it like online. I mean, I started to cry because it was such a great feeling. You felt so connected, like your work is finally out there. Other people are seeing it, people you don't know. It's such a good feeling. And I'm looking forward to knowing that hopefully all of these 18 women are going to have that same feeling. Yeah, Barbara says it would be good to acknowledge the designer if the hook design is displayed somewhere. Yeah, that's a good, one of the great things about this project is because these are all Charlotte's photographs, I can just ask her directly on the phone, person to person, can I use the photograph for this and can I use this photograph for that? Of course, crediting her with everything, including this entire project. But that is one of the great things about this situation is I can put in color photos if she allows me to, which I suspect she will, because I know whose photographs they are. And she's on board with what we're doing, trying to create another sort of stream of revenue for these women. So I think we left off talking about this really interesting rug. We were on the part that she called agua, meal, and pulque. And we were talking this, I think this is where that we cut out, about this really exceptional rug on the bottom with the rabbit. And again, it's got text and that giant plant, which is actually this plant, and how it had, remember, they believe medicinal purposes, and it's very, very metallic because of all the sort of minerals and stuff that's in the plant. But she goes on to talk about the sort of liquid or juice that can come from this plant is actually alcoholic, made from fermented pulque, right? Is alcohol made from this plant, made from aqua meal, and it is traditional to central Mexico, where it's been produced for millennia. It has the color of watery milk, I guess just what you'd expect from like a cactus or this kind of a plant, and somewhat viscous consistency and a raw, sour yeast-like taste. Sounds a little bit rough, but sometimes things taste wonderful that are a little bit outside your comfort zone, right? This drink's history extends far back into the Mesoamerican period, when it was considered sacred and was used sort of in limited cases with certain people as medicine. And then she says, after the Spanish conquest, the drink became secular and consumption rose. The popularity of pulque, with the Q-U-E, reached its peak in the late 19th century. In the 20th century, the drink fell into decline mostly because of competition from beer, with 19th century immigrants bringing more and more beer over. So it remains that way. And she says it does have a powerful punch. In other words, you could get, it sounds terribly drunk if you drink too much of this. But I just love how in this book, you're looking at images like this rug, and she's telling you the story, right, of this plant. Because you're going, what the heck is that? Like what kind of a black-eyed daisy is that? if you're a dum-dum like me. But it's so great to be able to see these stunning rug images and then to hear a little bit about what she's showing us. So I'm just going through the rest of the book. I want to show you the parts that I think are the most charming. I love this whole chapter called Home. And underneath she wrote patio, kitchen, bedroom, laundry, bathing. And she says the Mexican family is the core unit in Mexican life. And the home is the center of everything. It's here within the walls and the patios of the house that the real roots of love and connectedness are put down. And she goes on to say that when a son marries, he will bring his bride to live at home, and they will build an extension on the house. So the house becomes something like what we might call a compound, many families living there, many hands helping out. Pulque. Oh, thank you, Catherine. It's called pulque. That sounds way better than polk, doesn't it? Polk sounds like a band, a terrible band. Pulque, thank you so much. Ooh, I like that. I like that. That is really helpful. Thank you. Eventually the home, yep. So they have all these extensions on the house and all of these people around. You know, when a child is born, when somebody's ill, something's going on. I mean, what a joy to have this whole, takes a village, right? But actually meaning it. And then showing life outside in the patio, some vignettes of outdoor. And then look at this beautiful little hooked rug. Beautiful, brightly colored house. Look at all the flowers. And then yesterday, Charlotte said, I thought that was a church, but that's actually another house with the sort of what looked like almost onion dome kind of caps, Turkish kind of architecture. Spanish, I guess it's more Spanish than Turkish. I just associate the domes and everything a little bit further east. But she said that's very typical architecture for that area. And, you know, it goes on to show, oh my gosh, that scared me. The rug fell behind me and I thought it was like an animal. She shows more rugs like this, beautiful outdoor scenes, again, evoking the idea that people live outside, and the patio is it. If you can get your chores done outside, your laundry, your washing, your any kind of cleaning, your hooking, right? If you're in this group, that's your work. You do it outside. And you know, these rugs, I can't say that I've noticed any of the rugs in this book being interiors. So life really is about outside. It's about the patio. Actually, that's not, well, actually it is true, because I'm thinking of the ones of the kitchen. Remember the one yesterday with the sort of mortar and pestle? I think she was still outside, because why shouldn't they do their food prep outside, right? Just for fun, doing Zumba dancing and exercising. And then there's this wonderful chapter on celebration. Village Day, First Communion, Homecoming, Wedding, Third Birthday is a big one. I'm going to run over a little bit today. Graduation, and then the Catherine, help me out. Cinca, she did it for me yesterday and I lost it. Cinca Anera, right? 15th birthday. I haven't got it. I need help. But all of these special days that I think are unique to this area, well, obviously not First Communion, but all celebrated in different ways. There are rugs for all of them. Can you see her at the bottom? This one, this is like somebody celebrating, singing, dancing, right? There's like somebody dressed up in what I assume, try to bring in focus, is traditional costume, dancing, and then this beauty here. This might be, I'm not sure what day this represents. This could be, I suppose, bring in focus, one of the special days for women, like the when you turn 15 day. I was talking about that a little bit yesterday too when Charlotte was on. But she goes through the seasons of their life, all of the important and special days, and there are hooked rugs to illustrate all of them. That's what makes this book so great. This one too, right? Traditional costume, very different, right? And this is, we're talking about in this chapter, she said, recently a new style of costume has emerged, copying the Apaches or Aztec garb. They have a woven dress and they dance of another tribe into something that is very much their own. So it sounds like they're borrowing from another tribe, Augustin Gonzalez. So these are different days that are important, reasons to get together and celebrate. First Communion, another beautiful little rug here. Isn't that gorgeous? With that little one all dressed up in front. The sun smiling, peeking out and smiling. Little cross on top of the church. It's just so charming. Best folk tradition these rugs are. They really are. Women getting ready for weddings and stuff. I want to show the wedding rugs. I showed them during the call yesterday, but for those of you who weren't on the Zoom, this is a beautiful wedding rug. I asked Charlotte, do people... Okay, so Malia says, sounds like Keen Sierra. Yes, thank you. That totally rings a bell now. Keen Sierra, nice one. Perfect. Now, I asked Charlotte, because wedding rugs are a thing, I said, do they stand on the wedding rug, right, Kaz, to take a vow the way that traditionally earlier in the 20th century it was very popular to do in the U.S.? And she said, no, not really. They like to keep them clean. It's to celebrate the day, and they're up on the wall. But this wedding rug I used for our thumbnail for today, and I absolutely love it. This is by Bonnie, the woman that I showed you at the beginning. She's like the sort of the clown. She's got a great sense of humor. And this is one of her marriage rugs. And in it, there are 2 chickens tying the knot with other farm animals bringing presents in baskets. And the translation, the words say, I'm saying goodbye to my single life. She always adds clever words. Bonnie is like the sort of Mercedes Hutchinson of the Mexican rug hooking world. I mean, seriously, adding all this great text, sort of cartoony feel, making up her own text, fantastic, and all the little animals coming in attendance, to the wedding of the chickens and bringing little gifts with them. Isn't that honestly spectacular? Like just spectacular. So she goes through all the seasons of life here and talks about all the different things that they celebrate, all of the special things that they do. I want to show one other that was super sad that I showed. Not sad, it's happy, but it's just me layering emotion onto stuff. During that keen, I lost it. Quinceanera. During the quinceanera, when the girl turns 15, I was talking about this in the call, but for those of you who aren't on, she wears like a beautiful, colorful dress, right? It's a big, big party, and she's got escorts, male escorts. That didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. Who attend, who bring her. It's a huge, huge, huge party celebrating, her getting older. And here's a beautiful rug from it up top here. But one of the things that really sort of broke me up emotionally was how sweet it was, talking about all the different photos of the dancing and everything, and choreographed ending right at the end of the night. It's a big blowout. But that her dad, as part of the ceremony, gives her this sort of symbolic last doll. This white thing is a doll, and you can see in the picture he's dancing with her and he's crying. It must be super, super emotional. But it's like a blowout of a day. And I said on the Zoom call, not everybody gets married. Not everybody wants to get married. And isn't it an amazing thing to have this kind of a party, for sure, at least one time in your life, if you're a girl and you want to wear a nice dress, and they just blow it out. You get such a sense that they love life and they love celebrating. So much of this book is Charlotte's photography. But again, there are dozens and dozens of hooked rugs in here. I just want to see if I want to show you. I want to show you all of them. I'll show you some more, I think, when I get my rugs. Because I know some of these ladies, I got rugs. I think I got 4 or 5 rugs. These rugs are not expensive. So check rughookproject.com. Hopefully the link is on this video. I had it on yesterday, so hopefully it's still there. But you can check that way, or La Rancheritas Rug Hook Project. There's quite a few that are for sale. And on the Facebook group, Rug Hooking and Punch Needle Club, our group, I posted a bunch of the pictures and the address for Charlotte, which I think is Charwolf, WOLF, @gmail. But check the Facebook page because you can contact her directly. And order any of these rugs. They are very inexpensive, most of them being between like $50 and $70. So they're not enormous, but I mean, it's a very good price. So let's revisit this book when I get my rugs. It'll be a little while because I know some of them are currently in Mexico and people are going to be driving them, next time it's convenient, and then I'll get them. But when I do get them, I know that wedding rug is so cute, Crystal. Isn't that so whimsical? The little chickens getting married. It's so whimsical. And, it's like, I was thinking, I'm going to end on this thought. I have something else exciting to show you that fell and scared me, but let's do that tomorrow. I'm going to run a coffee time tomorrow because I'm not sure how my weekend looks. The kids going back to school, and there's a couple things I wanted to do with them, like end of summer things. So I'm not sure how the weekend looks at this moment. So I want to give you one more coffee time episode for sure tomorrow. Buy myself some time to think. And I have something very cool and related to show you tomorrow. But, I've been listening to this book, and I just started it. I'm on like page 2. It's called Cozy, and I forget who it's by, but the title is Cozy. I'll tell you more next time. But it's all about how, there's so many things in your life that you can't control, right? I mean, that's the scary part. That's the dark part. That's the part that has no shape. But the whole point of the book is to talk about, it sounds like such a trivial thing, but to talk about the part of life that can be cozy. And, she talks about how all these stresses of her kids getting older and becoming more distant, and they'll be moving out soon, and sad and heavy. But she says, but they're still coming home from school, high school, and she's got the soup ready on the stove, and she's got things set up the way that they like them. And it seems to me like this whole book is about consciously doing things to make yourself feel cozy, right? To make your world feel cozy. And I just thought, this reminds me so much of this La Rancheritas thing, right? Getting back to those basic things, because of all of those things you can't control, your job or not, life, money, there's so many facets that you can't control. But that little part that's called cozy, you can control. And I think we're attracted to that part anyway, as rug hookers or crafters or textile people. We like that part that you can put your hands on, where you can make something and control something. You can make something beautiful. You can make something comfortable. And just knowing that that's possible, I think, is a relief, right? In some weird way, it's the window that opens, or the door that opens when the windows are closed. It's just a nice book. So I'll tell you more as it goes on. I recommend the book so far at 2 pages in, but I'll let you know more because it crossed over a lot in my mind to doing crafts and just thinking along those lines. A lot of those things translated directly to doing crafts. And I thought, what a great reminder, reading these things, reminder that there are so many things I can do, even on a bad day, to make life cozy. And that counts. It counts for a lot, doesn't it? So anyway, crossovers, just trying to bring life back to, into that crucible, burn off all the garbage and make it into that beautiful, pure thing again that we can all enjoy, to remembering what the important parts are. So this whole segment on Rich Roots has made me think about that too. Thanks, Linda. All right, so hey, listen, tomorrow I have a bit of a surprise episode for you. I'm going to put out a challenge, which I haven't done for a while. And I need help doing some research on a rug that's not a hooked rug, but it is a rug. And let's look at it tomorrow. It crosses over because I think it is of South American origin. But let's look at this mystery rug tomorrow and do some brainstorming and see what we can find out and work out. And I'll put out a contest tomorrow too. Look for Frida later. I'm going to list that, and I'll list the Brady Bunch dyeing class too. So both of those things are coming up. Hey, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Look forward to tomorrow, coffee time, same place, noon Eastern Standard Time.